Okay, hi Capricorns, and welcome to your June 2022 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to deliver you a tranquil and healing reading for your month ahead. As usual, I will be talking about the intuitive messages of June alongside a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading, which will be available on Patreon, and I'll link that below. So yes, Capricorns, June is a hard month for a lot of people, but it's very rewarding. Okay, so you're having to polish a lot of things up here. I feel that there's not a lot of room for clumsiness, for vagueness, for ambiguity. There's also not a lot of room for unpolished or unedited correspondence of any kind. I feel that you really have to take a focus on the structure that you're producing, and I think that you have to take a focus on the general review process, the general verification process, and the general final efforts. Okay, so this is not for Capricorn, I feel, about starting over during June. It's not a time that requires you to create something brand new, and it's not really a great time to be creating something from nothing. June of 2022 is here for you to get everything really right and for you to start to really relax a little bit more. So to start to delegate and to not feel bad about delegating, okay? I feel like Capricorn is like such a boss at this point in time. Like you guys had so much weight from the outer planets come in and give you a lot of like authority or give you a lot of power of some kind, and now you might be bearing that all on your shoulders, kind of like Atlas, kind of like Ten of Wands, like we've been talking about for so long. And June 2022 requires us to start to implement things that help us to keep it together, okay, and help us to not be crushed under the weight of having taken on way too much. So delegation, I just think it keeps coming to me for everyone. I mean, I know you've got Five of Pentacles here, and you've got Seven of Wands, so there's kind of this poverty consciousness, or there's this fear of like, what if I have to change? What if I have to do things differently? And what if the delegation doesn't hold up? Or what if what if I have like a change in income or something, and like I get used to, having help, or I get used to having people help me, or I get used to the help of the universe, and then it gets taken away from me. That's what Five of Pentacles is it's like that poverty consciousness. It's like, why would I accept any aid or help from anybody because it's going to eventually go, or I'm not going to eventually have that, and that's really going to hurt. So that is like the foundation of poverty consciousness, when we refuse elevation or we refuse to have things easier because we'd rather work ourselves to the bone than risk having it easier and then having that taken away. So that's really important to see here, this toxic factory like work culture that we're in, where we want to do everything ourselves, where we want to, only trust ourselves in our own work process. So like toxic self-employment or toxic self-reliance is at a height right now, and this Cancer season is going to come in and take that to the climax for a lot of people. And I feel that by like July and August of 2022, people have either fallen under the weight, or they have chosen to just leave some of it behind. Okay, so the image I'm getting is like a donkey that like carries like really heavy stuff through those very narrow mountain trails, and some of the stuff just literally falls over the edge. So you could see that happening, like you're ascending higher and higher and you're like carrying a lot of weight, and like literally it just basically gets sacrificed to the gods here, that extra weight, like it goes over the chasm, and we're just grateful at that point in time that we haven't either done that. So here we are, Capricorns. And you have to lead the way, I feel, with how we carry weight in the future. How do we do it? How do we get that heavy stuff up the mountain? Okay, that is why Capricorn exists almost. That is why we have to figure this stuff out, because it's really uneconomical to be trying to like carry all this weight, and then it ends up just like falling over the edge, and it's like it never mattered, we never had to work so hard, and then this becomes like an existential crisis, where we ask ourselves, why did I think I could carry so much? And now I have to like deal with the sunk cost of it all, and it becomes really hard. And this is a major pivot point, I feel, for all of us. And I feel that Capricorn, you're like the representative of this, or you're the person who has to show us like, okay, you need like, you need like 3 attendants, you need like, instead of just one trailer, you need like 4 different vehicles with trailers, okay, instead of trying to like pack it all into the one trailer, okay. So how we carry that which we have really is coming up during this time. Saturn's going retrograde, you know, we've got Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. It's a very Saturnian period of time, and we've got Jupiter and Mars in Aries really giving us the impetus and the motivation to like climb and to do more, to produce more, to create more, and to be more meaningful within every single action and to not fail. Okay, there's a big fear of failure coming in now. And you may just have to kind of like let other people make the choices. Or I'm seeing some Capricorns really just having to get their hands off of things, or having to like get out of a certain business or get out of a certain carrying process and let like the experts in. Or, not that you're not an expert, but like really, I think that there's a lot of positive room for Capricorns to like hire experts or to allow people who have done it to do it. Okay, so like not needing to be the expert of everything, not needing to like be so darn entrepreneurial that you like you know, are trying to like rely on donkeys to like carry stuff instead of like trailers or instead of like forklifts or something. Like if you can imagine like here in 2022, like buying a herd of donkeys in like a industrialized economy to like carry something, like you're building a house and you're like relying on donkeys when there's like a perfectly good equipment. Like we can get really reductive here if we're not careful, and we can reinvent the wheel is what I'm trying to really say here. And that's why it's good to have other people who are like industry experts or other people who have a better idea of how certain things work to like put things together for you. So you're basically not just like wasting a lot of time and making a life of wheel reinvention. So relying on that which is already here, relying on the technology that does already exist will really help your productivity now, okay? And really watch out for being stuck in the past, or for doing things the way they were done 30 years ago, or for not getting up to date with the time, because it's going to really demand that we use every single ounce of that which we have innovated to solve some of these like majorly deep, majorly heavy crises of wear and tear, of sunk cost, of a lot of stuff like that. And it's heavy, it's not fun, it's existential, and we can be like boo-hoo all we want over it, but we really do eventually, I think, have to step into action and just hire it out or just get it done. So I'm especially talking to those of you Capricorns who have like managed to conglomerate a lot of resources together, or who have managed to like construct like a huge structure in your life. It really needs to be well oiled and well functioning now. For those of you Capricorns who are more like minimalist, congratulations. I mean, that's great. Because it's very much easier during 2022 to be a minimalist than it is to be somebody who's like really anchored down by a lot of heavy stuff. But there can still be difficulties or problems within the minimalist culture. But if you don't have like that much heavy stuff to deal with, I would try to kind of get on the opposite side of this and start introducing more projects or introducing more movement within your life, because again, it totally depends on what side of this you're on, but I just feel Capricorns need a shift in like the weight of what they're taking on. So it can be hard to be too light, and it can be hard to be too heavy. We need to find a greater balance now. Also, it seems like just hands-off approaches in a lot of your life. You know, if you see the 9 of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the Empress, and the Justice card to a degree, it's all quite hands-off, and it's suggesting more of a relaxed and refined Capricorn. So let's talk about this week-to-week Capricorn. Week 1, you've got the 5 of Pentacles rooted down by the Justice card. So there's something you don't want to do anymore, or there's something that you want to balance out or either reduce or increase depending on how much you like it. So it's important to get out of poverty consciousness and not worry so much about falling through or having any types of failures, because we have to remember that the universe always comes through in some way or another. And there's always, you know, if you're on the right path, if you're acting ethically and integrity, and with integrity, you're always going to find support, or you're always going to find solid footing, even if it's not as predictable as you would like it to be, or even if it's not like as inflated as you would like it to be, but in a way that ends up being a backhanded fortune. So if you're like looking at, I don't know, less income, or less, like for example, having to take a pay cut to do something you really want to do, I would do what you want to do. Okay, money is getting less and less important like every single day. Like it's really, I'm surprised it still has the importance societally that it does, because there's not much there, honestly. And it's like it comes naturally, or it's quite difficult, certainly not impossible, but it's actually not that easy to be totally without it, okay, or to actually be impoverished during this time. But of course, I'm not suggesting that you do anything crazy, but Capricorns, try to not let money rule your thinking process or your strategies now, because it will lead you to being in too much of a poverty consciousness, which will not attract money anyway. So it's almost like by like focusing on the money, or by being hyper budgeted or hyper focused, you can actually kind of dodge the energy of abundance there. So it's like by activating your solar plexus and doing what you love, you're much more likely to have those needs met easily. Week number 2, you have the 9 of Cups rooted down by the Empress. Beautiful energy there. Okay, so overcoming poverty consciousness, embracing abundance and luck, embracing ease, embracing passive reception, letting other people run the show, letting other people do some of this work that you've been having to do for so long. That is a victorious thing to do. And I really support that for pretty much all Capricorns, to be like, you know what, I don't have to worry myself about this. And if it's something that's like not tangible, like you're just like worrying about your past, or you're worrying about someone in your life, or you're like got like worries on the mind, very easy for Capricorns. Try to just let it go and put it into God's hands or something, or put it into different hands, or just like, I don't know, go to the therapist or something once a week and tell them what you've got to say, or to the astrologer or whatever, and leave it there. Okay, let it out, journal about it, close the book. And then your prosperity and abundance is really going to rise, and everybody's going to do better, okay? Because when a Capricorn worries too much about stuff, it hurts everybody, okay? Everybody can feel that heaviness, and it creates a void on the Cancer Capricorn axis. Cancer is also like this. They can really create a huge void around them when they're constantly worried or constantly doubting themselves. And that leads to isolation and loneliness and lack of connectivity with others. Week 3, Knight of Cups rooted down by the Sun. Beautiful again. Okay, spa energy, being at the sauna, being in the sunlight as well. Can you guys just like go on vacation, please? Can you guys like take a load off? Can you guys take it easier on yourselves? It's really going to help everybody. Okay, it's going to make you more solid as a boss. It's going to make you more solid as a team player. It's going to make you much healthier and much more together as a person. And that's going to do so much more than all of this like worrying, all of this overworking, all of this Saturnian overfocus. Okay, try to relax in the sun. And you don't have to explain yourself to anyone either. I think Capricorns sometimes lose sleep over like, how am I going to explain my motivation? How am I going to explain why I've structured my life like this? Like, you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. So letting that sink in will also be really helpful. Okay, week number 4, 7 of Wands rooted down by 7 of Cups, 2 sevens. It means that you are basically having an emotional transformation, and you're trying to let emotions play a greater role in your projection. To me, the sevens are about emotional shift within a scenario. So like you felt a certain way about something many years ago, and you don't feel the same way anymore about that. So it's like a long running scenario in your life that has a sudden kind of like shift into its basically like final phase. So with the Cups and the Wands, it's fire and water mixing together. So you are seeing an emotional shift in your desire, and also your general elevation in life. So 7 of Cups is about mountains out of molehills. It's about skyscrapers in the mind. And then 7 of Wands is also kind of about that too, where we see like, wow, everybody's against me, or everybody's, trying to stop me from doing well. And this is a very like almost, what do I want to say? It's almost like a lunacy, or it's like the moon archetype in the tarot, where we're seeing things in a certain way, and it doesn't make it wrong, but it doesn't make it right either. We're like toning or tinging certain situations in our life with a certain emotional flavor, and it can be seen from another perspective. So people might not really take it seriously, or people might be like, well, that's not how I feel. Like, you might express your concerns to someone, and they might like really have a different thought, and they're like, whoa, you think that that's a bad thing? I think that this is like the best it could possibly be. It's like really unfortunate to see like political arguments, or to see that you expected somebody to feel a certain way or to support you with something and they have a totally different opinion. That's possible in the fourth week. And again, it's kind of a pushing you towards like getting out of town or going on vacation, or not having to like explain yourself. Sometimes it's better just to have like that allure or that mist of the unknown. So letting these emotional shifts pass and not having to be so concerned about the things which aren't yet here is a big part of the fourth week, and not having to like talk about that which isn't yet here. Okay. But ultimately, Capricorns, I think that it's kind of a calibration month. It's a recalibrating, sometimes how electronic devices have to be like recalibrated, or they have to be restarted, or, it's like a hiccup or something, or a little bit of a glitch for everybody here in June. And it's getting us, sharp, as like when you recalibrate the device or when you restart the device, it comes back a lot sharper and more well functioning. This is like the reason that people take vacations. This is the reason that people do hiatuses and sabbaticals. We're not capable of being 100% of the time. It's just not life, okay? So I definitely recommend anything that's evocative of restarting, rebooting, recalibrating, so that you can come into July, a very, very important month in the year of 2022 for decisions, with all of the good function that's possible. So let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, Capricorns. I will link that below and in the center of your screen now. And yes, I do weekly forecasts over there. I do all of these readings extended and ad-free, and it's a great value. So come check it out, and let's do that now. Much love, Capricorns. Have a great month. Bye.